Research was published in this week's Journal of the American Medical Association. Well, 2 states have seen setbacks in abortion restriction laws this past week. In Texas, a federal judge ruled Friday new abortion restrictions are unconstitutional. The judge's reasoning: the obstacles to getting an abortion, quote, have reached a tipping point. These restrictions would hold abortion clinics to the same standards as hospital operating rooms. In Louisiana, a U.S. district judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking enforcement of a new abortion law. The law requires abortion clinic physicians to obtain hospital admitting privileges within 30 miles of their clinics or offices. That law remains in effect, but physicians cannot be penalized for breaking it. We welcome back Carol Tobias, president of National Right to Life. Are you disheartened by these rulings, Carol?
Disheartened, yes, but surprised, no. Pro-lifers elect candidates who get into the state legislatures, they pass great pro-life legislation, and then the pro-aborts come in and challenge the laws, and it depends on the judge they pick. Sometimes they can select their judges. So surprised, no.
Let's look at the one that requires hospitals or these clinics to have really a surgery suite. What are the standards now for these abortion clinics? Why are these laws necessary?
There really is no standard. That's the problem. We have seen and heard stories of women going into the abortion facilities, having some problem during the surgery, and the ambulance can't bring, when it is called, cannot bring a gurney down the hallway because the hallway is too narrow. Maybe the doors are even locked. I mean, they can't get the woman into the ambulance to get her to the hospital. We've heard stories like in the Gosnell case where there were cat feces on the stairs, the women were given bloody blankets, the instruments were not cleansed, sterilized between surgeries from patient to patient. There really are no standards for the abortion industry.
And it is a surgical procedure. I just don't understand how they could get away with this for so long.
Well, they've tried to say that abortion should be treated like any other medical procedure, and yet they don't want any limits on abortion. They don't think women should have to do the informed consent, get the informed consent conditions before they go through the abortion procedure. They think it should be someone other than a doctor that does the abortion. The National Abortion Federation went into Gosnell's clinic and said that these conditions are horrible. We don't want him to be a member of our organization. But they didn't report him to anybody, the American Medical Association or the Pennsylvania Health Board. They were more concerned with making sure that abortion is being conducted and that the babies are dying rather than the safety of the women. So we do need these kinds of laws.
Is it about safety or is it about reducing the number of abortions?
It really is both. I mean, I think some legislators would vote for these kinds of regulations because they really do want to see the procedure safer for women, that the standards should have to meet basic minimum health and safety standards as other ambulatory surgical centers.
But the ultimate goal would be to reduce abortion.
Well, certainly, if that's a side effect, because you're saying abortion has to be safer and women would say that they aren't going to get the abortion or that the abortion facility closes, that means babies live. That's a positive for us.
These were last-minute judicial rulings, roadblocks to these new laws. Is that a good use or proper use of our judicial system?
Our founding fathers said that there's a checks and balances system in our government. I'm not sure they quite envisioned it being used in this way. But it's not a surprise because the courts are the best friend for the pro-aborts because the legislatures are elected by the people and they're passing great legislation.
The president of National Right to Life, Carol Tobias, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.